Hi, everyone. Thank you for spending some time with me today. Well, as of Friday, May the 15th, we made it to Code Yellow. What exactly does Code Yellow mean for our church? I think it means this. Some years ago when I was pastor down at St. Therese Parish in Uniontown, I had the joy and the privilege of touring one of the large caverns in the state of West Virginia. I was given a private tour. When I arrived at the cavern, the tour guide said to me, "Father Ken, the first thing we're going to do is examine the public section of the cavern. Then after we do that, I'll take you to the private section, a section that's really sealed off to the public. I think you'll find that very enjoyable." I said, "Okay, I'm game. Sounds like a fun afternoon to me." So we spent about 2 hours looking at the public section of the underground cavern. It was really interesting. The rock formations were incredible. Fortunately, his light was powerful, and we were able to see all type of just different parts of that cavern. I really enjoyed it. After about 2 hours examining the cavern, we then moved into what he called the private section, a section that, again, is closed off to the public. And he said to me, "What we're going to do is I'm going to open up this big wooden door. Once we get on the other side of the door, I'll close the door and lock it. I don't want anyone entering this section." He said, "Now you have to stay very close to me. It's dangerous. The footpath is very narrow. So follow the same steps that I take. Do not deviate left or right, because if you fall, the fall could be 90 feet in some locations, 200 feet in other locations, and retrieval would be very difficult to pull you out of whatever hole you fall into. So stay very close to me." He said, "Before we get started, I have to let you know this. At the very end of our tour, it's going to take us about 2 hours. At the very end of that tour, we have to travel through a tunnel, small diameter tunnel. It's about 400 feet long. At the end of that tunnel will be the exit. Are you game?" I said, "Yeah, sounds like an enjoyable afternoon. Let's do it." So we entered that private side of the cavern. He closed the doors. He said he wouldn't. He locked it so no one else could enter. I am following him step for step, using the exact same steps he was taking so that I would remain safe. His flashlight was powerful. The rock formations even more incredible than the public section. Then after touring that part for about an hour and 45 minutes, we got to the part that he said would be difficult. The last 400 feet, it would be a tunnel, a very small tunnel. When we approached the tunnel, he said, "What you have to do, Father Ken, is we're going to get on our hands and knees and we're going to crawl through this tunnel. At the end of this tunnel, about 400 feet, will be the exit. Are you okay?" I said, I'm doing great. I'm doing really good." So he got down on his hands and knees, and I got down on my hands and knees, and he said to me explicitly, "Stay close. Stay very, very close. Make sure you keep touching my shoes, because I don't want you to lag behind. It's going to be very difficult to go back and retrieve you. I won't be able to turn around in this tunnel. It is so small, so narrow, so tight. So you have to stay right next to me, right behind me." I said, "Okay." So we're traveling through the tunnel. We're probably about 100 feet into the tunnel itself. And I asked him a question I should have asked before we even entered the caverns that day. But I said to him, "Let me ask you a question. Are there spiders down here in this cavern?" "Oh, yes," he said, "there are plenty of spiders." He said, "I'm surprised you haven't seen a spider yet. They're all over the place." I said to him, "Does that mean that there's spiders inside of this tunnel?" "Oh," he said, "this tunnel is full of spiders. Spiders like dark, damp areas, and this is a great environment for spiders. They're all over this tunnel." He said, "Matter of fact, I wouldn't doubt if there's a spider on you right now." When he said that, I lost control of myself. I got really scared, really nervous. I'm frightened of spiders, so I started to push him. He said to me, "Why are you pushing me?" I said, "We have to get to the end of this tunnel. We have to get to the end of this tunnel now. Keep moving faster, move faster, move faster." I keep pushing him, pushing him. He keeps telling me, "Slow down, stop. You can't be pushing me like that." I said, "I have to get out of this tunnel. I'm just losing it." And then all of a sudden, when I looked ahead, I noticed a little light. It was about the size of a dime. I said, "What is that light?" He said, "Well, that's going to be the end of the tunnel." And that light looked glorious. As I keep pushing him and he keeps moving as fast as he can, I'm right behind him. That little light kept getting larger and larger and larger and larger until all of a sudden we exited the tunnel. I felt so relieved and so glad to be out of that cavern, out of that tunnel. That light at the end of the tunnel gave me a sense of hope and gratitude. That felt so good. And then when we got outside of the tunnel, I said to him, examine me, check me. So I turned myself around and I said to him, do I have any spiders on me? He said, you don't have any spiders on you. No, not at all. He said, how about me? So he turned himself around and I looked and I said, yes, you have 4 spiders on you. They're on your back. He started to shake himself off and the spiders fell to the ground and they're moving all around and I keep jumping around so the spiders don't come toward me. And I was really scared about that, but we were above ground and I could run anywhere I wanted to. But when he said to me, that is the light at the end of the tunnel, that felt so good. It gave me a sense of Easter hope to know that we'll be okay, we'll survive, I'll survive. And that was extremely important, obviously. But Code Yellow, what does Code Yellow mean for our church? I think it means that we now can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's been a long tunnel of darkness and gloom and dreariness for all of us. The weather hasn't much cooperated during the time of the 8-week lockdown. We were really kind of just stuck and confined. But now at Code Yellow, even the outside is getting warmer. The sun is shining more. You could just see the light at the end of the tunnel. For our parish, for all parishes in the Diocese of Greensburg, to my understanding, we'll be open for private prayer. We started that opening on Friday, May the 15th. We'll be open for private prayer from 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday through Friday, not Saturday and not Sunday. When you enter the church during those 4 hours, any time during those 4 hours, you must have a mask on. You must keep that mask on the entire time that you are in our church. And when you enter the church, you will need to stay inside of the roped off area. Do not go under the rope or over the rope, just stay inside of the roped off area. You'll notice the pews you'll be directed to just by following the roped off area that you'll be able to sit in for private prayer, meditation, reading, just sitting there, whatever you like to do as you gaze upon the Blessed Sacrament in the tabernacle. If there are a lot of people here, when you enter the church, you must remain allegiant to the 6-foot distancing of social distancing. So do not get close to anyone, do not shake anyone's hand. Obviously nod, a smile is always a nice gesture, and those obviously you can do. And then when you exit, you'll have to exit the exact same way. Now again, the light at the end of the tunnel, we're able to have funerals, and the funerals we have, the funeral mass can be conducted here inside of our church. There can only be 25 people. Out of the 25, I need to be counted as one of the 25, so that brings us down to 24, and we'll have music. So Mary, our music director, she's one of the 25, so her and I count as 2, allowing a family to have 23 people, bringing the total up to 25. So funerals are allowed to again occur in church. Weddings are allowed to occur in church, with the number being 25. So hopefully you feel like I feel. When I was stuck inside of that cavern, going through that tunnel, and I saw that little light, and I said to the tour guide, what is that light? And he said to me, that light is the end of the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel. That felt really good, and we kept traveling toward that light, and the light got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until we exited the tunnel, and that felt fabulous. So here we are, Code Yellow. What does that mean for our church? That is the light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully from this day forward, it'll just get brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter until we exit this crisis.